Rob from New York. As a person who has seen it all in every era, I was curious to hear Dutch's opinion, what Dutch's opinion was of people such as Dave Meltzer, who claim that Jim Cornette is out of touch or stuck in the past. I've been a wrestling fan my entire life, took a few bumps myself locally, and I'm very much a student of the game. And I cannot comprehend how anybody who was around prior to the modern era of wrestling can honestly say that wrestling as a whole was better than in the 90s or prior.
You know how many times I hear that? Every time I talk to a wrestling fan. Now, of course, it's opinion. And the people tell me, I don't think wrestling is as good today as it was back in your day. Now, that's an opinion. But it was new to them back then. But I don't think anybody who watches today's product can say truthfully, if they watch some really, really good matches from the past and some really, really good TV shows, that you can say that AEW, Rampage, or Dynamite, or Raw, or SmackDown are better than what they were given back in the day. Some great TV shows was produced in Memphis, Florida, Knoxville, or Pensacola, because they all told a story and they carried a roster of about 14 guys or 16 guys. That's all they carried. So, and you'd get an hour's TV show every week, and it had plenty of time to tell the story, to start a new story, to get new people over, to get guys that were leaving, to get them out. And it was an entertaining show. The Fullers don't ever get their full credit of being really, really good bookers. They were. And they didn't mind doing a job themselves. They were wrestlers too, Rob and Robert. They'd go out on TV and beat themselves. How many times did you see that happen? You didn't see Lawler doing that. I mean, he beat himself, but they would go out there and they just openly in the middle in front of everybody, they would do a job for somebody to get somebody over. Because, of course, they were the owners of the territory. And if the territory did well, then they did well. But I don't think if you watch today's product and it's so choreographed, but not so much now, since Triple H got back in there, it's not so much now as it was before Triple H took over. Because you can tell the story, Raw used to start and SmackDown used to start every time with a long ass in-ring interview, which when it started was really good for a year or two because it told you what to look forward during the show, what we're going to concentrate on. But it went on and on. Now, Raw and SmackDown, and I can't speak for Raw, but I can speak for SmackDown, it got so predictable, you could almost name the second segment after the in-ring yourself. It'd usually be something with Ricochet against somebody. And Ricochet, as soon as he went out against the top heel, you knew the finish. You knew that Ricochet was going to get beat. And it would go down to they would have like, I forgot, 8 segments maybe. And at the end would be your long segment. You go two or three segments and wrap it up. And you could tell when a finish was coming because if you watch the clock. When it gets 2 minutes before the hour, it's gone. Your finish is there. And you're gone. Then next week, blah, 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 we're out of here. And that's how they did Raw and SmackDown for not just a short time, for years and years and years. And that's why the viewership dropped, and then it dropped. Predictability. And they didn't change the talent. Doop. Plus, SmackDown would have the same characters, the same performers week after week after week. It's like going to a comedy show, and all of a sudden this guy leads off, then here comes the next one, then the next one. Then you could almost predict who was coming on stage next. That's what you don't want fans doing.